The danger with that is as follows. I have seen it where children are being accused of being bullies, and parents have come to me and wanted that child removed from the class or removed from the school. Otherwise, their child's being moved out. Good day everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylin and this is Foundation First. Today we are going to be talking about a very serious topic, and it's going to be in two parts. This week we are talking about bullying and what it is not. So as a teacher, this is something that we struggle a lot with, especially these days. Especially as somebody who teaches young children, this is something that comes up a lot, and very often children are accused of bullying when it is not that. It is something that is taken very seriously and is very hard to explain when something so triggering is something that you're trying to defend. First and foremost, something to know with children is that they are not born with the ability to understand right from wrong. This is something that is taught by the adults in their lives. And as mentioned in my emotional development video, very often children are learning to regulate their emotions. Regulate their emotions is by understanding what we need to really cry and be so angry about and what is not so necessary. How to bring down the really big feelings when it's necessary, and when it is necessary to have very big feelings. Something that's very challenging for teachers of young children is that very often you will find children from about 2 years old up until touching on 5 years old. You'll get children who will hit, who will lash out. And as they get older, this does become less and less prevalent. This, however, does not constitute bullying. Children at this age, they do manipulate, they do hit. Not all children hit, but because of their lack of ability to regulate their emotions, it is more prevalent. However, to understand where it is bullying is the line that you need to understand. 2 years old, children don't really know what it is to bully. So you may have a child who is very physical. Child goes around a lot of energy, and it's pent up energy, and they show their emotions by reacting. They use their body. They're very independent and strong-willed. So those children may in fact hit a lot more, pinch, even bite. This doesn't mean that it is bullying. Very seldom you will see a 2-year-old doing this, because the act of bullying is a lot more malicious. And children at that age can't really be malicious. They don't have the emotional intelligence yet to be malicious. They don't have those intentions. They are reacting on impulse, they're reacting on emotion, and usually it is, to many children, it's not of a malicious intent. However, when thinking about that, does not mean that we let this unkindness continue. Children need to learn that biting, hitting, etc. is not okay. If you're seeing a lot of biting, hitting, kicking, etc. in an older age, like 5, 6, 7 years old, if you're seeing a lot of it, then this is something that more alarm bells should go off in educators' minds. This is something that they need to be a little bit more aware of, because developmentally it is not appropriate. At that age, you don't experience it as much. Yes, one may lash out every once in a while because they're very frustrated, but they'll know that's not the best choice. That is something that we don't do. May have a little bit more remorse. This is something that is individual based and something we need to tackle individually. Does it mean a 6-year-old cannot bully? No, it doesn't. However, the risks are a lot less. Again, keeping this in mind, we need to tackle it as it comes. We need to take physical and emotional unkindness very seriously, whether it is unkindness or bullying. This is something that you need to take seriously either way. Another note to remember is that once we call everything bullying, nothing is bullying. When everything in the context of child aggression and child expression is called bullying, then there's no such thing as bullying. Everything that is bullying just completely boils down to nothing. We need to take bullying very seriously, and we need to say what is bullying and tackle it as bullying. If we say my 2-year-old got bullied because that child bit him, that is not bullying. Is it okay? No, it is not. It's not okay. That needs to be tackled. However, if you are in a preschool, your toddler, just might get bitten. However, if your child is in senior primary school, if your child gets bitten, that is absolutely bonkers. Your child should not be getting bitten then, and that's something that you have to take very seriously. Do you see the picture I'm trying to paint? When we go to a teacher and we attack her for, my child has been bullied because he has been hit, he's been bitten, etc., by this one child who's a little bit more aggressive. First of all, we also have to understand context. We are going to get children who are in classrooms that have very different life experiences. If the child is going through something at home, if their parents are getting divorced, if there's a big change in their life, if they are being abused, if there's something going on in their lives, then it will come out in their behavior. It would not be okay that we section a child because of their emotional expressions that are age appropriate because they are bullying. However, if a child is bullying, that's something that needs to be tackled for exactly what it is and be taken very seriously. If a child is acting unkind between children in a class, we tackle it as such. We need to go into discussions with children. We need to teach them adequate behavior. Very often, you'll get children who have a love-hate relationship. They either love each other or they hate each other. They can't live with one another. They can't live without one another. And those relationships are unhealthy. At that point, as a teacher, you get to a point when you say, okay, you have a choice. If you are friends, you are kind to one another. We can argue, we can disagree, but we cannot treat our friends like this. If we can't be friends, then you don't be friends at all. I usually tell children to find somebody who makes your heart happy. Because if there's a child who is lashing out on another child for doing something, for not listening to them because they were the boss of the game, etc., it is important to build that child's emotional intelligence and their confidence to be able to say, I don't like this, I'm walking away. This is a very important skill. We have to teach children that if they are not happy in a relationship, that they can go make other relationships. If teachers and parents intervene in every single one, then they are not going to learn that skill. However, if a relationship becomes so unhealthy that it's making the child so upset, you can, as a teacher, say they are not allowed to be with one another. It gets to a point where you say, this relationship is not okay. You two are not playing with one another anymore. You go play with these people. You go play with these people. That's it. And that's what it is. There's been times where that has to happen. They learn that that's what happens when we don't have a good relationship. If we have a friend that we're unhappy with all the time, then that's not a real friendship. And that's a big lesson to learn. When it is a case of bullying, which is very limited in small child 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, the possibility does increase when they get older. Very seldomly is it seen in a preschool space. Remember what I say, seldom, not never, seldom. When it does happen, that is something we take extremely seriously, and intervention is key. And that includes the parents and includes both of the children involved in the process. It is very important for us as adults in children's lives to understand the difference between unkindness and bullying. Bullying is something that is very serious, it's vindictive, it is damaging, and it's something that needs to be taken seriously. There are certain skills that we can teach children to stand up for themselves during unkindness, walk away, build our confidence around children who are unkind to us. Something that is very important to develop when your child is growing up is their ability to say no, their ability to say, I don't like it. Please don't do that. I don't like it. Saying those words makes a child who is actually just being impulsive, curious, trying to get attention, makes them realize, oh, what I'm actually doing is something that person doesn't like. Often you'll get a situation where there's a child poking, pulling, trying to get attention of another child, and they may be poking, pinching, hitting, but not aggressive, just like tapping. It is very important for that child to say to the child to please stop because they don't like it. And I've seen it many times that the child actually realizes, oh, that person doesn't like it because I actually said so. And for a child to get that skill of explaining why they don't like it, and that to actually say, please don't do it, especially for the more agreeable children, this is such an important skill to have. We say a rule to go by during these situations is as follows. I say to a child, if they have tried to find a solution once by saying something, walking away, etc., and that child continues, then they are allowed to come to me, because I'm trying to build up that skill with the child to be able to speak up for themselves and not just rely on adults. Because very often, if you are a teacher, you know that those children will come to you for absolutely everything. And if you intervene with absolutely everything, you are enabling them to come to you for absolutely everything. It is important that you give them the opportunity to, have you tried to find a solution? And if they haven't, say, just please try first. Then they go and try the solution. If they come back, it continues, then you intervene as an adult. This teaches them that valuable life skill of realizing that they are powerful and they can speak up for themselves, and you're not enabling them to come to a parent every single time. It's very important that they know that if they are in danger, that they come to you, no matter what. There has been times where I have made exceptions to the rule. That's something that's consistent. Then I will say, come to me no matter what, because it is something that I've had to put a lot more attention toward. It is very important to note during this video is that child development is very nuanced. It's very complicated. It's something that you have to take very seriously, and you have to take on a incident basis. Something also that you need to know, and I've seen this. This is not because I'm standing up for other people's children and I want to defend bullies. That is not the case. It is not okay to bully, and I've said it many times before, bullying is very serious. We need to take it seriously, and that is why we are having this discussion. But one thing that comes up very often is that a parent will not understand the nuance of a young child and the subtleties and the differences between different ages in their development. A parent will get extremely defensive and will want to defend their child very quickly. It's important to listen to your child. Listen to the child. As soon as you react, that child will match that energy. If your child is looking for attention, that child can. Now remember what I say, can. I'm not saying will, can. That child can elaborate certain details. If you start getting very inflated and very defensive and very dramatic, that child will start feeding into that and saying and going, yes, no, he did this. And then also, sometimes that creates fear in the child and they feel as though they need to react a certain way. I've seen it. I've seen the differences between a child who is very intentional about who they go to and that they are a lot more aggressive than a child who is actually just playing, and a child has very defensive parents who are very protective and will jump on every single detail. The danger with that is an extremely difficult situation to be in, especially when you as a teacher know, and I'm not saying think, I'm saying know, that child is actually not that type of child. It is important as a teacher that you investigate as much as you can, because you never know. You can't assume that child hasn't done anything wrong, even if it's that child's temperament. It's important that even if it's not that child's temperament, even though you may know that child probably didn't do it. And it's also important for us as teachers to have those children's backs. But also, this is where that strength and that relationship that I've spoken about before between parents and teachers is so important. This is why parents, it is so important to understand child development and understand child temperament. If you are inflated, if you are over dramatic about certain things, your child can feed off of that. If you use the word bullying, your child will use the word bullying. Children don't understand the meaning of words unless they've been used in front of them in a certain context. It's important for children to understand what bullying is, because I've seen small children go around saying, he is bullying me, when it is not bullying. Then that child goes home, says, this person is bullying me. You get very defensive, because remember, that is your heart. That is your world. You want to protect them and you want to fight for them. So your alarm bells go off and say, I need to protect this child, so I'm going to do it. And in that situation, is it bullying? Often, in this day and age, Often not. And who gets hurt in the process? Both children, because one child gets accused of something that they didn't do, and actually very often those children are friends. They get along really well. And then the other child gets to a point where children don't want to play with them anymore. They realize they can't stand up for themselves. They think that absolutely anything that is done to them is something that needs to be defended by their parents. They don't have the strength to stand up for themselves because they always go running to their parents who will fight for them. We will always fight for children. Children deserve that. It is their right. But it is also their right to be developed and provided with the skills to stand up for themselves in appropriate ways. Oh, so that was a mouthful. It is a very difficult topic. It is something that we experience all the time, and it's something that is so discouraging. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. It tells the algorithm that you like what you see. Please, if you're watching it and you like my videos, please subscribe. It really is encouraging, and I would like to grow a really big community of parents and teachers where we can discuss and talk and really bridge that gap between home and school. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next one.